Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Weekend Winners in association with BetVictor, where this week we're going to be looking ahead to the best of the action of Ascot Chase, of course, at Ascot, funnily enough, as well as that our best bets from Haydock and Wincanton as well. And joining me, as ever, are the dynamic duo of Declan Rix and Sam Boswell. Sam, new haircut, no doubt paid for by your winnings from Iberico Lord and the each-way money from Doddy the Great. So, I mean, it was your day last week.
Yeah, finally had a decent priced winner, didn't I? I get a bit of stick for how short my naps are. But yeah, it was really nice to have a good price winner, good day at Newbury as well, and plenty of great action. And we steam on, don't we, with another week's worth of final sort of Cheltenham clues, I suppose it's fair to say. Yeah,
definitely so. And of course, we have got the bet boost later on then, Deck, as well, that we're going to be talking about, so make sure you stay tuned for that as soon as we get to that later on. So yeah, it's all go now. We're a month away from Cheltenham, but still so much action to look forward to.
We are, yeah. Look, it's another big week. It's a good week again at Ascot. I just wish sometimes I think these big meetings at Ascot, this feels a little bit even close to Cheltenham, because the British horses need everything in their favour to beat the Irish this week. So I'm thinking they should have a massive British Racing Festival, join Newbury and Ascot together, last week's game spirit meeting, and put it on the same weekend. Give my horses extra time, but we digress. Crack on with the show.
You sound like you're out for a job at the BHA there, Deck. With
absolutely
that kind of
not. No, that means you can't have a bet, so it wouldn't suit me.
Wouldn't be quite, in your remit, really, would it? But yeah, Deck for PM, Deck for head of the VHA. We'll sign him up for anything at this stage. But before we get into the action properly, a reminder, as ever, to please do gamble responsibly. Our tips are not guaranteed to win, but we will still do our best to point you in the right direction. And also a reminder that all of Ascot's races, of course, on Saturday will be live on Sky Sports Racing, so make sure you stay tuned then for that. Now, we're beginning with the Grade 2 Reynoldstown Novices Chase for 5-year-olds and over 3 miles at 150 at Ascot, and the mare Apple Away heads away as the 11 to 8 market leader. So, Deck, are we sticking with the Fab, or are you looking to take her on?
We're going to go away from the Queen and we're going to go for the King here.
Nicely done.
Really looking forward to this race. Should be a cracker. I think only the 5 runners, but a good little race. I suspect Apple Away and Brave King then will go forward together, and it'll be at least an honest test, maybe a little bit tactical in places, but I think Kilbeg King will get a nice lead. Look, he's been a good horse this season. He's improved with every run, to be fair to him. You know, he did finish last season over hurdles, winning at the Punchestown Festival of 126, but he just looks like he's really improved for fences. He's had 3 starts over the larger obstacles this campaign, and he's improved with each run. But he comes here on the back of a big career best, I would say, in the Cato Star Novices Chase behind the likes of Ile Francais and Hermes Allen. And I think the combination that day of going up in trip, getting back on some nice ground, and the headgear all just really sharpened him up. And look, I think the case with him is pretty simple. I think he's got the best chase for him in the race, and he's the most overpriced horse in the race, in my view. So I'm going to kick off the show with Kilbeg King today.
Now, yeah, you said about the King then in here. I mean, I thought that was a lovely line until I realised there's also the King of Ryhope and Brave Kingdom in here. But the Kilbeg King then. So what's your Kings in this one? Kilbeg King, though, it is for Deck. Sam, where were you looking?
Not my King, because I'm going to go for Brave Kingdom. Paul Nicholls, if you ever want to know why Paul Nicholls is such a top trainer, just look at the patience they've had with this horse, who returned to action at Plumpton after a mammoth layoff, then went to Newbury, and I thought was really taking in this win here. Definitely a really nice horse. Paul Nicholls actually came out afterwards and said, you know, this is a proper horse, and I love to hear Paul talk so passionately about his improving types, and this is the horse that really ticks the box for me. This piece of form is quite interesting. Take a deep dive through this. Pulling Stumps, who I think ends up second here at Newbury, was pulling miles clear with Bells of Peterborough at Chepstow before falling 2 out and had every chance. Then the third Theatre Man was only beat 2.5 lengths at Cheltenham behind another Paul Nicholls horse that will be heading for the festival in Ginny's Destiny. So, and the fourth even ran really well in a competitive Musselburgh handicap. So that piece of form alone, I think the horse will improve again. Needs to find a bit more, I think it's fair to say, against the likes of the mare in here, who's quite interesting. But I just felt at the prices I wanted to be on his side, and I think he might even drift a little bit bigger than that 11 to 4.
Oh, okay. So not being greedy there whatsoever, but hoping potentially then for a little bit bigger again. Now, you're both with two of the kings in here. Well, I'm going to stick with the queen. Unoriginal, head of the market, apple away then for me. And you've just been saying there about the ratings. I mean, she isn't even the top rated in here because that goes the way of Kilbeg King. But he's now a 9-year-old. He was well beaten behind very good horses, admittedly, in his 3 starts so far. But I use that as a little bit of a reason to have a pinch of salt against that form then behind Il Francais for Kilbeg King, because he was only rated 135. Now that mark, as you said, Dec, has risen to 142 now. I'm just not entirely sure if that's accurate for me, but despite him keeping good company, he has been well enough beaten. Rather than apple away, we know exactly where we are with her. She's proven herself against the boys. Her reappearance, her jumping wasn't up to scratch yet, Haydock behind Grey Dawning. She'll be delighted to see that Grey Dawning isn't here, because then she got back to winning ways. She went to Leicester. It was a bit of a formality, but something you've just been saying about your form boost, well, I don't think there could have been much better form boost then for apple away, because making your mind up, who was a 31 length second in that Leicester contest, of course, won at Newbury last weekend. And again, bumping into Grey Dawning last time out, but she kind of set the race up for those horses. And 18 lengths in front of Broadway Boy, who didn't give his running, but has probably been one of the stars of the Novice Chase division already this season. So, apple away for me, Dec.
It's going to be the right king for me in Kilbeg King, please.
And the other king?
Brave Kingdom.
Right, we'll see who comes out on top then, as we've gone for 3 different selections in our opening contest. You knew it was going to happen, but before
it's a race of kings versus queens, isn't it, really?
Exactly, and the queens always rule the roost, as we know. So hopefully that will come to the fore yet again. Now, before we move on to our next race, if you're enjoying the show, and we really hope that you are, as ever, then please do remember to subscribe to the At The Races YouTube channel and also hit the bell notification so you never miss an episode. Right, on to our next one. Now, we had a difference of opinion, as I say, in our first race. I wonder if that's going to be the same in our second contest, because this is a really competitive renewal of the Swinley Chase, a Premier Handicap Chase, 5-year-olds and over, 3 miles at 3 o'clock. So, Sam, you get first stab at it.
Yeah, there's a few in here I liked. Larry, though, he's not getting any younger, 12 to 1. I kind of just wanted a bit of a bigger price about him. Quite like Do Your Job. He made my shortlist. A favourite as well, Back in Trip I liked, but it came down to Chamblou for me, and I'm prepared to take a massive leap of faith here, as I wonder if a couple of you might be as well. We'll find out in a minute. 3 PUs out of the last 4 runs does ring alarm bells, doesn't it, on paper? But the run last time out over a shorter trip at Ascot, the cheek piece is going on for the first time. I was very enthused by his return off this mark. What's he down to now? A mark of 143, got put up £1 for this effort. I really, really like his chances here. I hope this run's got him spot on for it, obviously just before Christmas. I think he's not going to necessarily be the horse that he once was, but he's not going to need to be, is he? You know, a former Grade 1 winner, he can produce here for me today. And I'm going to leave a bit of meat on the bones, so I've got a sneaky suspicion I'm not alone in thinking that Chamblou is going to be the one to side with.
No, and Dec, we're watching that. I mean, this is just a great race to watch back, unless you were with Harper's Brook in this, who did exactly what he likes to do, knows exactly where the finish line in was collared. But Chamblou was closing all the way to the line there.
Yeah, no, it just, as Sam said, he had kind of the pulled-up efforts there, and you just thought he was gone, didn't you? But it was brilliant to see him last time out. There was a little bit of fire in his belly and a little bit of fight late. And that was after, was it the 3rd fence? He absolutely walked through. Like, given the kind of jumping frailties he's had in the past, to come back from that error, it showed that he's still got a bit of confidence about his jumping. I think this race sets up really well for him. It's not going to be a big field. I think he's going to get some nice ground, and I think it's going to be a relative test of speed, which I think hopefully will allow him just to travel in his comfort zone, allow him to jump really nicely and just get in a good rhythm. You know, off this mark, he could be chucked in. You know, once upon a time, this guy looked like he could be a superstar. Was it the 2019 Charlie Hall?
2021, he fell in.
Yeah, there we go, 2021.
He was a long time ago.
Yeah,
though.
he was 22 lengths clear jump when he came down to 3 out. You know, he's a Grade 1 winner at a right-handed track at Kempton, like Sam says. There is plenty to go on here, and what I just liked looked a little bit of fire in his belly, and looked brilliant target trainers in Dan Skelton. So I thought there was a lot to go with here. I hope I've leaving you a little bit of meat, Katie, Tracey, because it sounds like you're with him as well.
How How do all three of us disagree in a small runner grade 2? But yet we all managed to agree then in one of the most competitive races of the entire weekend. Yeah, Chamblou again for me. So there we go. There's the hat-trick penalty for him from us. Yeah, I'm so confident about him, which I don't know if you necessarily can be, because maybe last time out was just that. I mean, you want to see him back it up, don't you? Because like you both said there, pulling up in his first 3 starts this season, and that Charlie Hall fall, that seems an age away now. But this will actually be off of a mark of 143. Now, this is £9 below his peak rating. Now, he's never actually won a handicap. I was going back through his form. He's got such a bizarre CV, really, this horse, but we know the ability, and I loved that last time out. Hopefully it was a confidence booster over a trip too short for him. So back up in trip again, Chamblou. I think he's been teed up perfectly for it. I'm scared of Victorino, but at the head of the market, 7-1 about Chamblou. I'm hoping that's going to go the positive way in the market.
Well, like I'm sure a lot of people will be with Victorino, won't they? Because he's young, progressive chaser. But the profile of this race is a bit strange. It's you always want to take on the older brigade and these horses, but 10-year-olds have actually, I think, won 6 of the last 10 renewals. So a bit of a strange one like that. And I don't think there's ever been a 6-year-old winner of this race. So I'm wondering, did Katie Tracey put that through her stats machine this week?
And 2 of the last 5 have been rated 143 winning this.
There we go.
Hey, there's one stat that matters. We have a 50% strike rate. When I checked and I saw we were all going.
Oh, we have checked. I thought we were just making up our strike rate.
No, 50% strike rate when we all agree. So it's going to go one way or the other.
Yeah, so that literally is exactly. I'm pleased you went back through, because I've just been trying to like reel off the top of my head what our strike rate has been when all 3 of us agree. So no pressure on us. We are all with Chamblou then, but do let us know your own selections in the comment section below. As we move on to more graded company and grade 1 action now, this is the Ascot Chase at 3:36, a 5 rods and over 2 mile 5. Now, just 4 runners in here. Short price favourite in L'Homme Presse for Venetia Williams, who won this race 25 years ago with Teton Mill. But Dec, who do we like?
I'm liking the race as how it's going to set up, to be honest, because I think, you know, L'Homme Presse, Pictoria, Hoiseneur, in the early stages of all the races that they've contested recently, they all like to go forward. Yeah. So I think the first kind of 3 or 4 fences are going to be really critical here in terms of horse getting into a nice rhythm. Although the start here for this race is a nice one. It's the usual 3 out on an uphill. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. Look, I don't think you need me to tell you that L'Homme Presse's peak efforts, he's a better horse than Pictori. I think you could probably definitely argue as well, anytime Pictori's come up a genuine kind of grade 1 horse, he's always struggled. To be fair, most horses would struggle against the likes of Chicken and whatnot. But I just worry about L'Homme Presse. I'm surprised they're coming here, but you've got to respect Venetia Williams' training. Obviously a top-class trainer. I thought they'd go straight to the Gold Cup off the back of that good run at Lingfield last time out. He's coming here, second time out, relatively quick after Lingfield, off the back of a long layoff, off the back of an injury. And I've always felt he's better left-handed, as we saw in the King George a couple of seasons ago. He jumps out left plenty. So I just thought it looked a race kind of I wanted to be with Pictori at the prices. Now, if L'Homme Presse goes and wins, you know, that's going to be no surprise, is it? But to be fair to Pictori, he's coming here in good order. He's really a horse. I think he's a brave horse. He deserves an awful lot of credit because he really struggled with his jumping early in his career, but he's been brave, and the Nichols team have done really well. He's actually quite a solid jumper now. I know he missed the last time out at Kempton, but, you know, he's a good horse. He's going to get some good ground to run at, and I just thought at the prices he was the one I wanted to be with. So yeah, I'm going to side with the Nichols runner Pictori here, who I hope can go one better than last year.
Taking on the odds-on favourite. I'm still a little bit stung though with last time out. You say about his jumping nowadays, he is a lot better, which he definitely is.
Yeah.
Would he have won? Would he beaten Banbridge last time out? Had he have got a better jump at the last? I think so, but I'm biased because I was with him.
It would have been close, but I think we've also got to say he was giving Banbridge £3 as well that day, which probably made it all a little bit tricky. But yeah, just for me, a little bit of a price issue. But do you still think 8-11 is a fair price about L'Homme Presse? Or do both of you? Because I think both of you with him.
Thanks for giving it away, Dec. Go on then, Sam. You pick it up first.
Oh, yeah. Well, no. Listen, he's a short price, isn't he? But thank goodness he is coming here, by the way, Dec. You mentioned, obviously, the fact you're a little bit almost surprised maybe they didn't go straight to the Gold Cup. Well, thank goodness they are. Otherwise, it would have been an absolute exhibition, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So, yes, he's a short price. I kind of have to be with him this time. I tried to take him on, and I ended up looking a bit foolish. And usually I am concerned about horses coming out so quickly. But I guess, is it not the case we should look at it the other way? The connections are clearly confident that the horse is right, and they want to strike while the iron's hot, which I think is something that we don't see enough of.
Yeah.
It's very easy to put a horse back in cotton wool and hold off, but I like the fact that they're coming here. I think the owner's been very well spoken about how he's said, he wants to get the runs into this horse. I know you're going to say perhaps he doesn't jump as well going this way around. Is that something you're going to try and
No,
pick
it's not
up
that
on?
he doesn't jump as well. He just jumps left. And I think, when horses and jockeys are constantly having to be reorganised, they can just break your rhythm.
I think that's fair. I think I watched the Sandown run back, though, which came after the graduation chase at Ascot, and it definitely improved even going that way around. I'm sure he'd rather go the other way around, but I don't think it will matter as much. He's that little bit older, hopefully that little bit more wiser, and I just really like him, and I think I was very silly to try and take him on first time out. I think I could have made an argument to do that. Pick Dory for me, I had my fingers burnt, and I just wondered, that run at Ascot where Shishkin didn't run his race and that we had all of that, what did you make of that run? Were you as impressed as the 16-length victory over Strawfan Jack suggested?
No, absolutely not. I don't think he was in good order that day. I think that was a day where the ground was really tacky and jockeys were reporting that the fences at Ascot, because it was early in the season, had been really beefed up and they were strong.
Yeah, they were. Yeah,
I just think that combo, I think he's a horse who flows better off kind of nice ground that hasn't been really affected by cold weather or rain, which it looks like we're going to get on the build-up to here.
Yeah, tricky on terms of the ground, isn't it? Because, of course, we have had so much rain in the last few days, but we know how well it dries. We know how warm it's been as well. I mean, even now I'm boiling sat here in my wool. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the Ascot turf then rides. But I'm with L'Homme Presse as well, because I know you can save the doubts about the 27-day turnaround from that reappearance, and he's got a good record fresh. The Venetia Williams form isn't quite there, and he's probably a better horse going left-handed as well. But despite all of those things, all at their best, I just think he's a class above. And Pic D'Or, he's such a solid performer. I really, really like him a lot as a horse. But L'Homme Presse, just here, beating Protectorate over a trip that would have suited Protectorate an awful lot more so, because it was over 2 mile 6. So the drop back down to 2 mile 5 again shouldn't inconvenience him. I mean, we're talking about Protectorate as a potential Ryanair horse now. So for a future Gold Cup horse then in L'Homme Presse to beat him over that trip's fine. I don't think his jumping out to his left will inconvenience him around Ascot anywhere near as much. Now, throwing it ahead to the Gold Cup itself is a whole other picture, because this race has been a little bit of a graveyard, then going ahead to the Cheltenham Festival, not even just for Gold Cup, but to the Ryanair and other
But that's
races.
what we're saying. It sits a bit close to the festival, isn't it? Like it's just something maybe that everyone should get together and knock their heads with. But you know what? If we need a poster horse for why we should keep the Pro Cushion racing, it's L'Homme Presse. I watched back the Brown Advisory last night. When he got a crack, he took off. And when he got a crack, he only got one crack at Lingfield the last time, he took off again. So yeah, up the Pro Cush.
Up the Pro Cush, there you go. Clip that one out then for Deck there. Right, we're both with L'Homme Presse though, and you're going to take us on, taking on the
it's just,
favourite.
I think it's just a case of a little bit of a value bet against the classy horse, but we'll see.
Yeah, every horse has its price at the end of the day, but do let us know your own selections in the comments section below. But that is everything from us in this part of the show. Now it's time to head over to the Sky Pad to give you more Cheltenham ante-post plays. Now, we're just 1 month away from the Cheltenham Festival, so still time to give you some ante-post plays. So, Sam, where are we looking this week?
Well, we were tasked with looking at the handicaps, but I bent the rules a little bit and went to the bumper of all races, Kate. I had a bit of time on my hands this week and sort of re-watched the main sort of 10 to 12 protagonist replays, and the beauty of the bumper is it's not that much homework to do, Deck, so I've only had about 2 runs. I kind of went round the houses a bit, but I have come down on a Willie Mullins runner, funny enough. But I really like Jasmine Devol, who won a race that BetVictor sponsored actually at Naas, and a winning point-to-pointer. I always don't know how much I can read into the point form, so I was delighted to see this horse run in a decent bumper where there were 12 horses in the race. Sometimes the Irish bumpers especially get those small fields, a bit tactical, but I thought it was run at a really fair pace. Patrick got the opportunity to go forward on the horse, and it was a good time as well, which I quite like to see. Extended well away. It was a 2 mile 2 trip as well. Definitely going to handle the hill at Cheltenham, and I really, really just like the visuals. The time sort of backed it up as an OK run as well. I think there'll be more to come. interesting. The horse has had the run, been put away, ready to go for Cheltenham.
With that extra bit of stamina to boot as well, which you do like to see. So you can see on screen there, that is Sam's ante-post Cheltenham play. Jasmine DeVoe for the champion bumper, 5-1 boosted to 6-1. Take advantage there with the QR code on screen or at theraces.com/weekend winners to utilise that boost. So champion bumper, saving Sam on his homework this week. Dec, where were you looking?
Well, I'm also going to do Sam's job for him because he didn't even mention BetVictor or non-runner, no bet, did he? So there you go. Which will
Either in the post for you, Dec.
Which will potentially come in handy for my horse, Petit Tonnerre, because we don't know where he could go. But I do like Petit Tonnerre for the plates. John Joe O'Neill trained, JP McManus owned. He was 7th in the county hurdle last year, so he's got festival form. He was staying on really well at the death that day. And I think he's taken well to fences this season. He finished 2nd in a Grade 2 on chasing debut, and then he was considered good enough to run in the Grade 1 Henry VIII at Sandown. But it's clear this horse is better going left-handed. He jumps to his left. So I was really surprised they went to Musselburgh last time out, where he probably was a little bit disappointing. But I'm hoping that's because it's all been the plan. But look, he's a horse now that you could say it's a plan, but if people wanted to say he flatters to deceive a little bit, I think that would be fair. But novices have a good record in the plate, as do French breds, and I think he's fairly treated off 136. I'd love to see some nice ground for him because I think that suits. BetVictor are also paying 5 places as well, Sammy boy. So well done to them.
The only thing I would say, Dec, is we're so confident you've put a good selection up. These are win-only boosts. So you can play the conventional price if you think Declan's each way steal, there's a good idea, or you can get the boosted price if it's a win-only option.
Correct.
Correct. 23-1 with the boost if you want to go win only on Petit Tonnerre for the plate handicap chase. But Dec is putting him off as an each way play, though, so not taking advantage of that boost for now. But you're still pretty happy with that price of the extra places on
Yeah,
offer.
to be fair, like I do see him more of as an each way player, and I was struggling this week because you stole the Pertemps as a race.
Well, you snooze, you lose. And we're putting our selections into our WhatsApp group on a Thursday afternoon. I try and get in there first
come,
just
first
to
serve.
potentially save on this. And I've gone to the Pertemps. One of my favourite races. I know the Pertemps gets often a bit of a bum rap then as a race, but I love it because it gives all of us a chance for a few months or a few weeks to feel like a real shrewdie, because we all think we've spotted the plot job, don't we, for the Pertemps. Now, of course, I've got a close association with this race anyway, so I've always got a bit of an affinity to it. But I'm really hoping that Anna Bonina is going to win it for the mares again. A really likeable mare. And we know that from her few years ago, winning the Scottish Champion Hurdle back in 2022. That was a really good renewal of that race as well that year. And I just wonder if she's been plotted for this. Now, she is an 8-year-old, and it looks as though she wants 3 miles nowadays. Now, she got that for the first time last time out. She went to Musselburgh, finished 4th in a Pertemps qualifier. What better teeing up do you need? And all she was doing was staying on nicely from off of the pace at a front runner bias track. So she can be marked up for multiple reasons there. So she's been left on the same mark of 140, even with a bit of an Irish tax that she might be getting for this. I still think she's capable of winning off of a few pound higher all the same. She is in the mare's hurdle, but non-runner money back. So if she does go for that, I hope she doesn't, but I still get my money back for that. And she is in a Grade 3 next week at Punchestown. Hope she doesn't run all that well in that. And then she can run a good race at Cheltenham. Now 33-1 to 40-1 is the boost for Anna Bonina. Let's just go for the win then. Take advantage of that boost. Again, do make sure to utilise the QR code on screen or at theraces.com/weekend winners for that boost for Anna Bonina. Now, we would love to hear your Cheltenham ante-post play, so do drop us a comment below to let us know your plays at this stage. But it is, of course, time to look ahead to this weekend and our best bets. So, Dec, take it away.
Yes, the best bet this weekend is going to go at Haydock in the heavy ground, and it is going to be Botox Has for the Gary Moore team. He does have to carry a penalty in the race, but I still think he's classy enough to win this. Started the season by winning the West Yorkshire Hurdle despite jumping appallingly, but his last 2 runs at Ascot and at Cheltenham, he's jumped much better. They've been messing around with headgear with him. I think it's just sharpened him up a little bit. He is a little bit behind the bridle, but he's by a Dream Well, of course, the sire of Nassalam, who the Moore team have done really well with this season and have thrived on heavy ground. I hope it's going to be the same same for Botox has, who also has course and distance form. The next best then we're going to go to Ascot, which of course is live on Sky Sports Racing. We've gone from the Rendlesham to the Reynoldstown, which I'm surprised I haven't butchered. But it's going to be Kilbeg King for me for the next bet. We've already discussed him in the show, so I'll move on to the long shot, which is also going to be at Ascot. And this is Rapper. Now, I put him up as a long shot the last time he ran.
I was going to say, you've been here before.
Yeah, I have been here before, but he was a stinking drifter that day, and he ran accordingly. I'm really sorry to mention this, Alice Stevens, but every time Alice has ridden him, he's finished pulled up, or he hasn't finished at all. But he is well handicapped on some of his old form. He's got form with one of the market leaders in the race through 5, and if he's on a going day, and I think some nice ground will suit him, he could absolutely go close. He could even win this on a going day, because it's a really competitive race. So I'll stick with the old boy, Wiggler Rapper.
Nothing worse than a stinking drifter, is there, Sam? So that's what Deck's siding with again. Who are you going with?
Completely different to Deck this week. No alignment, I'm afraid, Deck. Bad news for you, I think. My nap is going to be L'Homme Presse. We've already spoken about his chances, but yeah, I really hope he can follow up that good win at Lingfield on the Winter Millions weekend. At Ascot, another win here would be great to see and give a real chance to something hopefully going into the Gold Cup. We'll probably be trimming his price, so if you like him for that, I'd get involved before he hopefully wins at Ascot on Saturday. Brave Kingdom, another one we touched on in the Reynoldstown. Really keen on his chances to go make it 3 in a row over fences. I think Paul Nicholls will be looking forward to this race with him. I can definitely see him stepping forward once again. He needs to, but I think he will. My long shot, we haven't touched on this race, the 225, Soaring Glory for me. Interesting Soaring Glory. Been a bit disappointing, I think it's fair to say, from the initial hype with this horse. Has won a big field handicap previously, and a lot of his better runs have come in double-digit fields. If you go back through all his wins, I think more or less have come in them, as well as a couple of placed efforts. John Joe O'Neill's team seemingly flying at the moment as well.
I'm really pleased that someone's gone for Soaring Glory here, because I was this close to siding with him. I know a fair few people in the week have put him up in the hope that he bounces back to form. So I'm pleased that one of us has at least gone with him. 14-1 looks a good price. Make sure to watch that price and exactly what it does about him as well. But my own best bets, I am also going for a race that we haven't touched upon yet. This is the Kingwell Hurdle, a mad race this year at Wincanton. Hopefully Rhubarb gets a run, but if he doesn't, because of the ground, which we're anticipating to be quite testing at Wincanton for once, then I'm hoping that he will just be pulled out of the race. But a race where Goshen, of course, is going to be taking most headlines, and people will be delighted here that I am not siding with him after siding with him in the Cesarewitch and also in the Fighting Fifth. I abandoned him last time out. He ran rubbish again, basically, and I just don't know how much his heart's in it anymore. He's getting the headgear. Even at a course and distance he likes, I thought he was worth taking on. So Rhubarb it is for me, because he's not facing any of the horses he's been taking on so far this season. And I thought that his run in the International Hurdle last time out was actually a really good run. He was well beaten behind Lossiemouth, but given weight all round. And of course, Lossiemouth in any normal year would be a legitimate champion hurdle contender. And he's also 1-from-1 at Wincanton. Now, I'm joining Dex with Botox Has in the 240 at Haydock in the Rendlesham. Again, a really likeable horse. And again, similar reasons to Rhubarb, because he is not facing any of the horses that he has been facing so far this season, who have been beating him, but not been beating him out of sight. The likes of Noble Yates, Paisley Park, Dashel Drasher, Champ Crambo. This looks a golden opportunity for him. And my long shot is going in the Swinley Chase, of course, and with Chambleu as my main play. 11-1, perhaps on the skinny side for my long shot. But again, another 10-year-old in the race, which we've all been talking about the trends for it. I really like. Now with Charlie Longsdon, though. But he's only been given a £2 rise for his success last time out. So if he shows similar form to that, then I thought Do Your Job might just be worth a squeak in the Swinley Chase. But that is everything from us on this week's show. So a big thank you, as ever, to Deck and Sam for all of their hard work, as per usual. A big thank you to you at home for watching. Best of luck with your bets this weekend. We'll be back at the same time next week to preview the best of the action at Kempton and Newcastle.